In this warm-up podcast, we're going to be talking about the circle of fifths. And if you've learned major scales and you basically know the notes on the fretboard, or you at least know how to find the notes on the fretboard, whether that's fast or slow, then this podcast is really going to help you put the pieces together in terms of learning all 12 major scales. That's something that every musician really needs to learn to take music theory at all seriously. Anything you learn in music theory, I think ultimately depends one way or another on knowing your major scales. If you learn some exotic scale or the notes of some exotic chord, it really is going to be very confusing without knowing the notes of each of the 12 major scales. So that's really what I'm going to use this podcast to help demonstrate today. And I'm going to give you a very slow, methodical exercise to get that information under your fingers and get it memorized as well. So the first thing we're going to do is just play a basic C major scale here in the second position. And the notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And actually, before we get started, like I said before, if the notes on the fretboard are confusing to you, if you don't have that under control, definitely go check out our notes on the fretboard tutorial in the beginner podcast before you get started. And so anyway, the C major scale, as I just demonstrated, has no sharps and flats in it. Now, the essence of what we're going to be doing today is really kind of seeing the scale, instead of seeing it as 8 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, seeing it really more as 2 groupings of 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have sort of the lower half of the scale and the upper half. And there are terms for those. They call that a tetrachord. A grouping of 4 notes is called a tetrachord. So if I start on the tonic of the scale, which is C, that's the tonic tetrachord of the C scale. The fifth note of a scale is called the dominant. So this one, the 4 notes starting on the fifth of the scale is called a dominant tetrachord. Tonic tetrachord, dominant tetrachord. Anyway, a lot of names for a simple concept. And it's going to be important. So what we're going to do to learn this circle of fifths is identify the fifth note of each scale and work our way through all 12 keys. So if I started on the C scale, found the fifth note of that C scale, which is G, G, A, B, C, could be the first tetrachord, the first half of the new scale, the G scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So I go G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And notice how the G scale has 1 F sharp in it. If you're confused why the G scale has an F sharp in it, you need to go back and study major scales. Those are whole steps and half step. It goes whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step. That's sort of out of the range of this podcast, and we definitely have been over that in earlier podcasts. So make sure you're clear on that. So anyway, if I started on the G, that G, which is the 5th fret of the 4th string, if I just started on the same G here at the 10th fret of the 5th string, that's G as well, effectively played the exact same pattern that I played over here for C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G for the G scale. Notice how, of course, I'm saying the notes out loud. That's maybe the most important thing of this whole exercise, is to slow down and count and say all the notes out loud. I can't guarantee you it's going to be necessarily easy or fun to play through all 12 of these scales and get it all down. But if you do it a little bit every day, it definitely will come together. You'll learn all your 12 major scales. You'll know all the notes. You'll know the notes on the fretboard. And everything else you do in music theory beyond that point is going to be a whole lot easier. So the 5th note of the G scale is D. So if I started on the D down here at the 5th fret of the 5th string, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So each time as we go up, we're noticing the 7th note here with these sharp keys is our new sharp. So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Same scale pattern in terms of the fingering. So now if I start on the 5th note of the D scale, which is A, I find A over here at the 12th fret of the 5th string. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. The 5th note of the A scale is E. E is down here on the 7th fret of the 5th string. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. And then the 5th note of the E scale is B. Down here at the 2nd fret, B, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. So that's the B major scale. And now, as we get to the 5th note of the B scale, that's an F sharp. So we've sort of made it through the first 6 keys so far. C, G, D, A, E, and B. Anyway, F sharp is the fifth note of the B scale. F sharp is here on the 9th fret of the 5th string. So of course I'm about to play the same pattern, but this time what I'm going to do is switch the enharmonic spelling of these notes, and that sounds like a lot. What I'm actually going to just do is, rather than calling this F sharp, I'm now going to call this a G flat and count it from G flat. That's the same note to your ear. It's just a new key in terms of the scale that we're calling it G flat rather than F sharp. So G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat. You may have learned early on in note spelling that you don't really refer to things as C flat or F flat or E sharp or B sharp. Well, that's actually not true. That's when you get into these more advanced major scales where you have a lot of flats or a lot of sharps, you will find situations where instead of calling this note a B, you call it a C flat. So why not just go G flat, A flat, B flat, B, D flat? Because you want to basically have one of each of the 7 letters spelled in each scale. So you get G flat, A flat, B flat, in this case C flat, D flat, E flat, F, G flat. And so let's look back at that and suppose we, instead of calling that G flat, actually called it F sharp. Couldn't we just say it's F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp? And again, you could also call it an F sharp scale. So in this case, this scale is basically referred to by 2 different names, G flat or the F sharp major scale. Okay, and then moving on. So if this is G flat, D flat is the 5th note of that scale. D flat's down here at the 4th fret of the 5th string. So we get D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D flat. Now we've got 5 flats in that key: D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D flat. And so that's a lot of flats. Remember how before we had sharps in our major scales. We were in the sharp keys. At this point, we've sort of transitioned to the flat keys. We have 5 flats in this scale, and progressively we're going to be now losing flats until we get back to the key of C that had no sharps or flats in it. So the 5th note of this scale is A flat, up here on the 11th fret, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat. 4 flats in that scale. And then the 5th note of that is E flat to the E flat major scale, here at the 6th fret. So we get E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. And so that's got 3 flats in it. Now we're going to go to the B flat. The 5th note of the E flat scale is B flat. So here we are at the 13th fret of the 5th string. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. And then down to F. F is the 5th note of the B flat scale. So F's down here at the 8th fret, 5th string. Now we've only got 1 flat in this key. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. And then finally the 5th note of the F scale here is C. And of course that's where we began, back at the C scale. So just to kind of go through that one more time. This is something, I'm just going to play through these relatively quickly and name the scales. But again, this is something that if you're learning the names of these scales, you absolutely must say the names of the notes out loud slowly. That's the whole secret of this. So we get C, the C scale, to the G scale, to the D scale, to the A scale, to the E scale, to the B scale, to the F sharp or the G flat scale, to the D flat scale, to the A flat scale, to the E flat scale, to the B flat scale, to the F scale, and finally back to the C scale. So each of those are progressing up a 5th. I want to mention back when we talked about the G flat and the F sharp, the fact that you could call this the G flat or the F sharp major scale. The same is true with both the B major scale that we had. You could actually refer to the B major scale as a C flat major scale, in which case everything is flat. That's kind of rare, but it's possible. So C flat, D flat, E flat, F flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, as well as the D flat scale, which sometimes you'll see referred to as a C sharp scale, where everything's sharp. C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp. So in that sense, Even though there's really 12 major scales to your ear, academically speaking, there's 15 major scales because there are 3 that actually have enharmonic spellings. So what I did is just demonstrated that scale with that circle of fifths with a single scale pattern, just moving it around where the root's on the 5th string. If you look at the second page of the tab, you could also practice it where you just do it completely in position. Starting here, meaning not jumping all over the fretboard, more or less trying to keep everything centered in one area. Let's say within the first 5 or 6 frets of the fretboard here, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then the G scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, to the D scale, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, B, to the A scale, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, to the E scale, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, to the B scale, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, E natural actually, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, to the G flat scale, G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F, G flat, to the D flat scale, D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, to the A flat scale, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat, almost done, E flat. So the E flat here on the 1st fret of the 4th string, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. And then the B flat scale, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat, F major, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, and then of course back to C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So both ways are valuable. Practicing it where you're moving the same pattern around, the same strings, or practicing it more in a vertical way where you're just trying to play it all within one position. Again, the most important thing here is to do it slowly. I demonstrated this kind of quick just in the essence of time and because you have tabs to look at. But do it extremely slowly and absolutely say all of the notes out loud and just understand that concept that each scale starts on the 5th note of the previous scale. So that's the circle of fifths.
Hi, this is Giles Martin. I'm here at Abbey Road Studios to talk about Can't Buy Me Love. Can't Buy Me Love was recorded on the 29th of January 1964 in Paris, not here. The reason why the Beatles in Paris is at that time they constantly toured.
I'll get you anything, my friend.
Chords, as we learned in the acoustic part, are E minor to A minor, E minor to A minor, D minor 7.
Buy me love. I'll give you all I've got to give if you say you love me too. I may not